Alright boys, in today's video we are going to be going over every boss in part 2 of the mines. So, I've split them up into some categories. We have the 1-man nuke, the 2-man nuke, and the gimmicky bosses, which are pretty much just break nukes. So, fortunately you can nuke every boss in the mines. So we're going to start with the 1-man nukes. These are easy insta-kills, literally just like you don't even need a guide on them, you just blow them up. So we got Degilmagna, Oldeus, Tonetaurus. For that one, you're going to need accuracy, just 100% ack up. Like, any way you get it, if you just have an attacker with accuracy up, boom, works. Next up, B3, and then we have Ugetsu. As long as you don't have a dark nuker, you are fine. Just use like an Okarune, boom, you win. And then we have Garm, easy. And then we have Radachne. For Radachne, you just need defense ignore, and you cannot have crit. If you have crit, you're not going to do any damage, but you need defense ignore or you won't do damage. So just don't have any crit, have defense ignore instead for Radachne. And then for the Omega 1-man nukes, we have Omega Oldeus. You're just going to need a magic damage dealer for that. And then we have Omega B3. You can one-shot him if you if you can do it super fast. But it will be a 2-shot if he gets to his first threshold. So if you do a little bit of damage and he gets to his first threshold, then he might stun you and you might need to do it again. But if you just nuke his whole health bar super quick, he won't even have time to stun you, and you should be able to do it in one shot. And then we have Omega Ugetsu, same thing as normal Ugetsu, just no dark nuke and you're fine. And then we have Omega Radachne, same thing as normal Radachne. You need a defense ignore, and you cannot have crit, and you are fine. So that's going to be it for the 1-man nukes, which are easy insta-kills. Literally just go into the boss fight, do one super art, they're dead. Now we're into the 2-man nukes. This is going to be 1 nuke before the threshold and 1 nuke after the threshold. That's the pretty standard in this category. So first up, we have Freydal. For Freydal, you're just going to need to burn him and then nuke the first half. He's going to do a little attack. He's going to fly back down. And then on his way down, use your second attack, your second super art, and that should kill him. You're fine. And then we have Elpneumas. So Elpneumas, you just can't do earth damage to him. So bring any other kind of nuker. I know it's unfortunate because Okarune's now the best nuker in the game. Can't use him on this fight. I would just find another nuker. You could probably use anybody's support, like an HK Roy would be great for this. And then you're going to nuke the first half, wait till he comes back up from his threshold attack, and then nuke the second half, and you're fine. And then we have Zwiber Z, pretty normal, just nuke the first half, and then as soon as he uses his Dane's Leaf, I think that's what it's called, as soon as he uses that, his 50% HP threshold art, use your super art, and you should kill him before he does anything crazy. And then next up we have Villakurz. So just wait until you get poisoned and blinded by Villakurz. So just sit there and wait for a second. And once you get poisoned and blinded, then attack, and you should be completely fine. You should do plenty of damage. And now we're going to get into the Omega bosses for the 2-man nukes. We have Omega Freydal. Same thing as normal Freydal. Just burn him with Vulcans. It's just a 4-star equip that everybody should have. And with this one, he pretty much just moves his first threshold up. And it's the same thing. On his way flying down, do your second super art. It should clear the rest of his HP bar. Pretty easy fight. And then we have Omega Zwiber Z. This one, the timing's a little bit more complicated. So, your first nuke, hit him with it. He's going to get to his half HP. But then you're going to want to wait even longer. So, you're going to wait until the second unit... So you're going to wait on the second nuke until all of your units recover from faint. And then there's going to be one unit that doesn't recover from faint because the device that Zwiber Z put down is causing him to be fainted. So you're going to want at least 2 nukers for this. So then with your nuker, take out his the first threshold and then wait until everybody gets fainted. And then once they recover from faint, do your second nuke, but be careful because one of your nukers might get fainted, so you're going to need 2 nukes at that point. And Then we have Omega Villakurz. So he only takes damage while you are affected by his status ailments. So be careful. Don't waste your super art. So in my video, you can see I lost the status ailment and then I didn't do any damage. And then I got them back and I killed him. So just make sure you have like a fresh stack of his status ailment. If you're using your super art and then it like goes away, you might just completely waste your damage. So make sure it's just a fresh stack and you're going to get all of that damage. And then we have Omega Elpneumas. This one's kind of a 3-man nuke because he does have that little bit of HP at the start. You could probably take that out with equips and then just wait a second, let him do his art, and then do a nuke, get to the next threshold, wait a second, let him do his art, and then finish him off with another nuke. So it's kind of a 3-man nuke. Like, it's kind of need 3 nukes for it, but you could definitely get away with 2 and just doing a little bit of arts or maybe like equipment damage at the start, and you should be completely fine. So now we are in the category with gimmick, or actually we still have Omega Garm. So Omega Garm, you're just going to need 2 nukes of different elements at the same time. So let's say you have an Okaroon and an HK Roy. Use them at the same time and it should completely wipe Garm super easily. But if you don't use them at the same time, like if you're using a mono Earth team with Okaroon, you're going to have a harder time because he takes less damage from whatever hits him first. So you're just going to have to try your best to have 2 different elemental nukers on your team. And then for the gimmicks ones, they're literally all just break nukes. We have Marzex, just break nuke him. And then Omega Marzex, literally the same thing as Marzex. And for their fights, if you cannot instantly break them, like I do, make sure you have a cleanse for when you break him. Because otherwise, if you have a poison or burn on your units, they're just going to die once he uses Endless. I think that's what it's called. So, yeah, you're just going to die if they're poisoned or burned. So make sure you cleanse that. And then make sure to reapply your taunt or DR right before he recovers from break. So you can see me doing that. As soon as that break bar gets like right there, right before he recovers, I use my art on Toma to refresh my taunt, so then it's not going to go down and none of my other allies are going to die. So make sure you do that to keep your DR up. I know he gets rid of the barrier, but it's important that if you're using a taunt, it keeps the taunt on the taunt, and if you're using like a damage mitigation like Shiro, that it keeps that 30% DR that Shiro gives. So make sure you do that right before he comes out of break. And then you can use your equips while he's using his Endless. So like healing equips, make sure you got those up. And then the final boss, I'm sure, has been kind of hard, kind of tough for everybody. Omega Tonetaurus. But you can break him pretty easily. I actually got a really good nuke on him. I figured out a great way to just blow him up. So the best unit for his fight is going to be Aristella Orbis, because he needs to be broken for you to do damage. But the issue is he needs break res down. And the biggest break res down in the game, it comes from Aristella Orbis. And use her true art, you get 80% break res down. And then it's super easy to break him. And then he's an easy nuke once you break him. It's literally just boom and he's gone. So having Aristella Orbis on your team for the Omega Tonetaurus fight is extremely important. Try to get her as your friend unit if you don't have her. But if you can't find her as a friend unit and you don't have Aristella Orbis, you might just have to play it the long way and use like a Chloe or a Pencilgon or even an Awoken Breaker. And you're just going to have to sit there for a while and just bang your head against the wall until you eventually break him. But no, once you do break him, he is extremely easy to nuke. You literally just one super art should wipe him out. You're just going to have to, sit in that fight for a while, like 10 minutes, just trying your best to break him and break him and break him. But remember to keep break res down. So like on Chloe, make sure you use her art. On Pencilgon, make sure you use her art. If you're using like any breaker, make sure you have your break res down active as much as possible, because that's going to make that break bar go a lot faster. But yeah, that's going to be it for every boss in the part 2 of the mines. I didn't go over the ones that are exclusively from part 1 because it's already over. Like, you could use a lure to fight them if you wanted to, but I'm not going to go over them because you can't progress with them. Like, you could get their equips, but Nah, I just don't want to go over them. So that's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord, and yeah, that's it. See ya.